At what point did you decide on what you would do with your life? Was it here? Was it within the walls of your elementary school? Were you conforming to what your parents wanted to believe, or were you doing your own thing? This is fourth grade.
For years, the school system has been pushing the idea of process over product. This idea means that educators are beginning the career paths early on for children as young as first grade. Process is the idea of the ride there, while product is the final destination. And in this case, it is the job that most kids want to take. The age-long question of why children grow up so darn fast is because of the paths they are pushed down at young ages. The ideals of children change over time. They go at rapid speeds from imagination, such as the little girl's response of cowgirl, to wanting to become a chemist because of their father's ambitions. Over 60% of children will follow in the footsteps of their families and stick with schooling and colleges as long as their parents did. In most cases, this comes from the incomes these parents receive. Once a child understands the abilities their family has, the more likely they are willing to not work for more than 30 years at a time.
So why is it that children that come from schools that are so close to each other have different ideals and motives behind what they want to be when they grow up? For our cross-curriculum project, we decided to do just this. So, we designed a lesson for 3 different groups of 4th graders, one class from our hometown of Clarkston, one from Waterford, and lastly, one from Detroit. We designed a lesson that had to do with careers. Every kid has an idea of what they want to become when they grow up. Some kids decide to not conform to society and declare their stances as becoming mermaids or cowboys. Others follow in the footsteps of their parents and create generations of families conforming job titles. Our first stop was a group of kids from Clarkston, more specifically Pine Knob Elementary. Pine Knob was one of the original elementary schools within Clarkston once the expansion of Detroit began in the early 1900s. Pine Knob has been a school for over 50 years. The first school to be built within the community was Sashabaw School, now known as Sashabaw Middle School. Clarkston Schools, as of 2014, had a population of over 8,282 students.
Okay, so today we're going to be asking you some questions about your future. If you have an answer, just please raise your hand. What do you want to be when you grow up? You.
Soccer player.
Soccer player? What made you decide to want to be a soccer player?
I've always liked soccer.
You?
I want to be a basketball player
Basketball? What made you decide you want to be a basketball player?
because I really like basketball and everybody in my family plays basketball.
I want to own a restaurant
Why do you want to own a restaurant?
because we have a family restaurant.
Cowgirl.
Cowgirl? Is anyone in your family a cowgirl?
My aunt actually is,
Really?
and it's really cool. I thought it was really cool, and I'm not like a girl.
Yeah. That's really cool. You?
We began our lesson by asking the children what they wanted to be when they grew up, and who influenced this: their teachers, their parents, their peers. We wanted to compile different answers because we wanted to see how the kids varied. Most of them, as predicted, took to the parents' ideals and wanted to become just like them. In a study conducted with over 2.3 million people, children are 7% guaranteed to end up with the same job as their parents when they grow up. This is seen with lawyers and nurses and doctors. Their children end up becoming the same as they are.
According to Laurie Cohen, a researcher at Nottingham University in the United Kingdom, it could come down to how parents shape their kids' values and ideologies that ultimately increases the chances of children conforming to their parents' beliefs and following the paths that they had been led to believe are the most important.
In 1821, the very first school in Oakland County was created in the loft of a sheep barn that had 7 students in Waterford. A year later, the very first schoolhouse was created with 13 students. At this time, many different buildings like mills and hotels were built, however, were put out of business due to the Great Depression. Later, in 1951, the first high school in Waterford Township was built. At this time, the population was just over 20,000, and today there are over 70,000 people living in Waterford alone. 92.65% of this population are white, 2.89% are black, 3.91% are Hispanic, and 1.27% are Asian. The average graduation rate between the 6 high schools in the Waterford district is 64%, which is 16% below the nation's 80%. 93% being the highest belongs to Kettering High School, and the lowest being a school near Pontiac, which is 18%. We played bingo with all the schools that we visited, where different occupations filled the spots in the card. Our goal with this activity was to keep the students interested in our presentation, as we wanted to learn about their perspectives on careers, which we could later compare throughout different districts.
I have a question for those who won the bingo game. Out of all of the options, which one do you want to be the most and why?
Athlete.
The athlete? Athlete.
Baseball player. I didn't get
Zoologist. A chef.
Who is this friend?
A new study from Education Week shows that at least a third of teenagers in the nation are dropping out of school without earning their diplomas. Detroit has the worst rate. Fewer than 25% of freshmen go on to graduate. Most kids that do graduate from the Detroit school system follow in their parents' footsteps by not proceeding on to get a college education. A high school diploma is associated with a higher income and occupational status. And young adults with low education and skill levels are more likely to live in poverty and to receive government assistance. However, Detroit Public Schools had the largest graduating class of 2015. About 4% of the people that graduated from Detroit in 2015 graduated from the charter schools. While in downtown Detroit, we visited the charter school known as the Hope of Detroit. 60% of the students have low English proficiency, yet the scores they received in MSTEP were higher than the Michigan median. They are also a STEM school. This can be reflected within their answers.
A technician.
Technician. Why do you want to be a technician?
Because I like stuff that involves technology.
Yeah. What's gotten you interested in technology?
When I was littler, my parents were taking apart a computer, and I just liked how the chips inside looked.
That's really cool. Anybody else? You?
Just a really quick question. Who here likes science? Who here likes math? Got any subject you like, Chance?
I really like language arts. Anyone here like English or a couple?
Anybody like history?
Me.
Gym? You guys have gym class? What's your favorite part about school? You and back?
Being able to learn with and doing fun stuff to learn. Like sometimes we have little games about math, reading, and other stuff to help us learn.
Makes learning a lot more fun, right? Yeah.
Fun activities.
Activities? What's your favorite activity?
Gym.
Gym? You?
When I go to writing.
Writing class? What do you like to write about?
I like writing about stories.
Stories? Do you make up your own stories a lot?
As well as asking the children questions, we ask administrators and teachers as well. The following are some clips and voice recordings of what they answered to our questions.
And parents modeling reading and thinking and questioning and the way that they interact with each other. You know, maybe dad's not very respectful of mom, or mom's, you know, they have certain perceptions of girls in math or things like that. I think there's nothing bigger than the effect of a family or parents on how kids do in school and in life to a certain extent.
I would say social skills and problem solving. There's a lot of what you see in students that come from a background of poverty is that a lot of times their conflict resolution skills are not very good. So they might be prone to fighting, yelling, swearing, not accepting responsibility for things. And so those are all kind of foundational skills that I try to incorporate, especially for kindergarten and first graders. But those are definitely, I would say, definitely the most valuable. That and then resiliency. So understanding that their background doesn't need to define who they are in the future.
To conclude, we have come to the realization that families whose children are exposed to more opportunities in the educational world are more prone to conforming to their parents' path in the work field, while also lacking a sense of creativity. However, those who may not receive the same opportunities are more likely to dream bigger in terms of possibilities for their future. The children who receive their education in the more suburban areas reach for more goals such as athlete or lawyer, primarily because it's what their parents are. However, those in rural areas strive to be more imaginative, such as an astronaut or neuroscientist. This adds to the idea of how large of an effect your background and home life has on the depiction of your future. Overall, our main goal was to reach beyond just location, but also focusing on curriculum and home life to convey how they alter our mindset of conformity versus nonconformity in the school system.
You guys went to Kettering? My sister went to Kettering.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Kettering, but I moved to Clarkston, so now I'm going to Clarkston.